Welcome in, readers. I am Ook, and joining me for this one is somebody that I've got a lot of hype for already. The grand high mucky muck himself, Dimwit. Welcome to the show, Dimwit.
Hey, Ook, it's good to be here. That's funny. I didn't realize anybody looked at Discord titles.
Yeah, yeah. It shows up. Like literally when I pulled you up, it was over on the right hand side today too, and I was like, oh, yep, it's still that's where I've seen that. I knew it was a thing.
you, you could just set whatever you want in there.
Yep.
It's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Oh yeah. At work, my last job, we had the Skype uh, app as kind of the standard, and I set mine to half of the things on the internet are lies. Abraham Lincoln, and just and I would just leave it
Yes.
there, see who would say something. Oh,
Uh, the last job I was at some point they decided it was important that we get business cards, so
oh
they
dear.
came around and said we're gonna make business cards. But the like the structure in that company was like so informal. They were like, we don't really care what your title is, so just pick whatever title you want. We'll put it on your card.
That's
So
awesome.
people had
Oh me,
Grand
that's
Viceroy of programming and
yeah. That sounds like the sort of job you want to have, and it does sound like programmers from what I remember in college and the programmers I've met since then. That does sound a lot like programmers. Oh me.
yeah.
So, for those who may be unfamiliar with his work, Dimwit is a nine-time Dr. Mario Monthly slash DRMC champion, including the 2020 World Champion. Uh, I was looking back at, yeah, I was doing the math, going over your records, and I realized it was, I think it was 11 months solid, where it was either you or Packy who had won the tournament. So,
Oh, it was me and Packy in so many of the finals.
yep.
Um, I mean, he's just a monster. He always has been. And the crazy thing is, like, I feel like every time we face off against each other, it's like a super intense, super close matchup. Probably wouldn't be that way these days, but
Well, I mean,
I
you,
haven't really kept up, and he's still improving. So,
yeah, and it's amazing that that's still the case. So the icebreaker question I always ask, the first thing is, tell us about how you got started with the game in the first place, and then how you got into this community.
it was actually at the same company. We had in the break room, one of the employees brought in a mist. You know what this is? It's a little it's an FPGA that can emulate a whole bunch of different uh video game systems.
Okay.
I guess you have to sort of set it up ahead of time. You pick one of them, but it has cores for a whole bunch of different ones. And they had set it up to with an NES core because they wanted to practice their Mega Man speedrunning. Um, but the CEO, when he was in the break room, would play Dr. Mario. I guess he played it growing up. And I was in there one time. He was like, "Hey, do you want to play like a versus game? This has a two-player mode. Let's have a game." And like it was my first game, so obviously he wiped to the floor with me. Uh, but I was like, that can't be right. So I went home and I played like several hours a night for a week in a row.
Oh wow.
I was like, this seems like a pretty good game. And then after that, I mean, more and more people in the office started playing, and we eventually had sort of, and uh, I don't know, whenever there were two people in the break room at the same time, they'd walk over to the NES and or walk over to the Mist emulating an NES and play some Dr. Mario. And there was a wide range of skill levels as well. So we we sort of learned through experience with each other what handicaps would make the game sort of interesting for both players.
Right.
Um, but that was a lot of fun. Actually, one of my first. With every game I play, I find some program that I wish existed that doesn't. This is not something I try to do. It's just something that happens. And the first one that I did with Dr. Mario was a thing for recording the outcomes of versus like handicapped versus games and suggesting handicaps for future games.
Oh, wow.
Um, which that was a really fun project. I could probably talk for half an hour about what made that interesting and fun and hard. But maybe maybe I shouldn't.
I mean, I listen, Leviticus and I just did the podcast version of his interview, and I cut out probably 5 minutes of him and me just talking about Link to the Past randomizer. So trust me, these are organic interviews. So whatever floats your boat, we will figure it out. Okay, so yeah, that's great. So you didn't really learn the way most of us. I mean, it's still an organic method of learning, but it was more learning through playing verses with other players than the way a lot of us
Yeah.
were that grew up with the game. We just learned to play it and get past this level and never think of it again, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was a lot like that, yeah. And a lot of it was just sort of, I would, play a couple games and then I would drive to work and I would sit on my drive with my brain completely disengaged from driving, thinking about like what makes good Dr. Mario happen? Like what is the strategy that makes you better or worse at the game? Um, and yeah, I think we as a community have come up with a huge corpus of tricks that make you better at the game.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about at least one of those coming up because you were the one who discovered blinking, and I would love to not end the night without knowing exactly what that is. I think I do it, but I don't know. um, so take me to May of 2020. How did you find the Dr. Mario Monthly? Did it find you? What was the process that led to you becoming the first champion of this tournament?
Oh, uh, I don't remember exactly, but I think the way it went was I had just finished working on Bowcreef Ulse. I don't know if you. This is a tool that I made that. So one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to practice my mechanical skill, like my ability to press the buttons in the right order with the right timing as fast as possible. Um, so I made a tool that lets you set up the board in a specific configuration, and it will drop a pill on that configuration over and over. So once the pill locks, instead of like the game playing, the pill gets erased and you can do it again.
Okay.
And so that was sort of like the entire was to practice, but also to do some like theory crafting, because a lot of times there's multiple things you could do to get a pill to a location,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not obvious which is faster, which is slower. So the tool would show how many frames it took from launch to lock. And it would give you a running average over the last 10 and some statistics about how often you failed and stuff like that. So you could start to learn what maneuvers you can do reliably and what maneuvers are too risky to use in a run and stuff like that.
So you built it
And
around the existing core of the game.
yeah, so that was a plugin for FCEUX,
Oh,
which
gotcha.
is
Okay.
yeah, one of the NES emulators. Um, and I was so I had just sort of gotten that to a minimal viable product level, and I was demoing it on my stream. Uh, and DM Hero popped into the chat and said, "What the heck is this?" So I gave him a quick rundown, and he was like, "I know several people who would be really excited to know about this, and you should tell them." And I was like, "How do I tell them?" And he connected me up with, so not the current Discord server, but I guess there was one
Yep.
one prior that became defunct.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
still actually a member of that one. I still have the whole archive server down at the bottom of my Discord list.
yep, it's down there marked. Don't tell me until I
Mm,
revive it, but. Um, so that was when I joined the Discord. I'm pretty sure. Um, I guess that doesn't really answer the question of like how the whole transition happened, because there was a transition from sort of the in-office versus playing to speedrunning. And I don't remember exactly how that happened, but I remember I wanted to sort of play by myself, and so I found speedrun.com had leaderboards.
right.
Uh, I thought I would start doing some speed running, and uh, one of the things they require is uh, a video of you to prove that you did the thing you said you did, which makes a lot of sense. So I thought, what the heck? I'll just stream it and let Twitch be in charge of making a video that I can link there.
As you do.
And if people want to watch, great. If people don't, like, that's fine. I would do this. The alternative is I do this and just record it locally, and nobody is watching, and that is also something that would be fun for me. So I had no real, you know, ambitions or anything with that. But yeah, so then I just started streaming myself speedrunning, and I guess eventually people who were trying to make a competition and form a community, we just naturally found each other through our through Twitch, I think.
Yeah, that seems to be the way it goes for a lot of folks. I'm just always curious with the first, the first kind of batch of people, how everybody found each other. So that's great. Good story about DM Hero. Okay, so that's I
I
never know
think
who the recruiters are.
I think at that time there was like a lot of the growth was uh very much like through Twitch. People would see a new person streaming the game, and they'd pop in and say, "Hey, if you're actually having fun with this, you should come join us." And a lot of people did.
I can confirm that is still the way it is done. There's actually somebody who just posted a sub 16 in the PBs and Achievements channel named 1990. And I remember going into his stream and Betty had already beaten me to it. So like we still troll people, like, hey, who's playing Dr. Mario now? Let's go see if they're any good. Oh, they're pretty good. Let's see
Yeah.
if they want to be in the community. Let's
Yes.
get more speedrunners. It's fun.
Yes.
So what was the time frame between that corporate job of kind of learning the game and 2020? Was it just a year or two, or had it been a while?
Oh man, I don't even know.
Okay, just
It couldn't have been that long. Yeah, on the order of, a year or two, something
okay.
like that. I think I wasn't playing for that long before the community started forming.
And that's always so interesting to me because I think of the game. I don't know, I guess because I grew up with it. To me, it's something that should take longer to learn than a lot of folks have. But you got players like you, like Influx. Um,
Yeah.
I can't remember who all else. I'm sure as soon as I shut the stream off, I'll think of the people I'm thinking of, but who went from I've never heard of this game to I'm now playing it at a pro level within a matter of just a couple of months. It blows my mind that that is something that people are capable of doing.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. One of the things that I think about sometimes is like, okay, so there's this somewhat famous thing that like kids are excellent at learning languages or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Um, and learning things as an adult. I think the implied uh thing there is that learning things as an adult is basically impossible. Uh, but I do think that there are realms where being an adult gives you a lot of advantages in sort of learning and improving at a thing. You know, having a an attention span and the patience to sit and think about something instead of doing the entire time, and just having, I think, in the process of growing up, we develop a whole bunch of patterns about how to think about problems and how to come up with creative new thoughts about that thing. And yeah, I just feel like as adults, there's a lot of creative thoughts that you can have about Dr. Mario. And I think a lot of them would have been tough for young me to come up with if I had been playing as a young,
Yeah.
as a young player.
Yeah, I mean, you're right on the money with that. It's yeah, you're right about the language thing. I'm a children's librarian, so that is like right up my alley. I've read studies on early childhood and language development and things like that. You're right. When you're developing the connections, that's easier to do when you're younger. But yes, things like problem solving and some of the higher order thought processes, you really need to be able to pull a game like this off at a high level. Yeah, it can be really difficult for somebody much younger to learn. So I think you're right on the money with that. So I had more
Yep.
questions. Let's see.
Please, yeah, please.
So yeah, we haven't seen you in the speed game a lot. I know we still see you at some of the versus tournaments. Do you still practice quite a bit, or is it just something you do every once in a while, kind of dust the game off and check it, but mostly aim towards speed, towards versus, or what is your interaction with it these days?
Mm, um, I've actually been most recently attempting to do a like general video game cleanse.
Ah,
So I have not been playing video games generally, including Dr. Mario. Um, yeah, I have something of an addictive personality, and it's very easy for me to get started doing something and then keep doing it until 3 or 4 in the morning or something like that, even if that's not necessarily what I would choose if I weren't doing it right then. Um, and I just decided it was going to be healthier for me overall to take a break and see how life is like when I'm not doing those things, see if there's anything different. And yeah, I mean, I think there's been a lot of positive changes in my life. There's been some negative changes too. I miss playing. I miss the community. I miss all of that. But um, yeah, it's just been a thing that I've been trying to see what it's like.
sure. So I guess you're no longer a grand champion in Rocket League then.
I am no longer a Rocket League expert. Oh,
Yeah, I remember. I think it was like within the month after you had posted about that in the Discord server. I had mentioned it to JB, and he goes, "Well, that's one more thing he's better at than I am." Which
oh,
in my brief history of playing Rocket League, I can't even get out of silver. So I commend you for being able to be at a high level at more than one game at any time in your life. But yeah, it makes sense. You gotta pay attention to yourself. And I totally get
yeah.
having an addictive personality. My wife asked me the other day, "Hey, do you have any interest in playing WoW?" And I said, "Listen."
Are you trying to kill me?
Well, we've got a mutual friend, or mutual friend. We got a friend
Uh-huh.
I introduced her to, who
Yeah.
is talking about it, and she's done it in the past. But I have very vivid memories of using the one computer in my dorm room that one of my roommates had, because he'd gotten an AOL connection and had picked up City of Heroes, and it being 3 in the morning, and that's the only time I could get on the computer. So that's when I got on it uh, while class was going on. It was a terrible, terrible idea. So I completely commiserate with the idea of having an addictive personality and understanding what your limits are.
Yeah, it started with reading there's a book called Dopamine Nation,
Okay.
and one of the claims of that book was that like we have arranged civilization to make it incredibly easy to get a shot of dopamine, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, uh, to get the like literally sweetest thing it is possible to get into your mouth in 10 seconds. And like there's a bunch of different things where on the ancestral plane it would have been months and months of work to acquire this thing, and today you like walk down to the corner store and it's 10 cents or whatever. um and the claim part of the claim of that book was that if uh if you are always full of dopamine, then the like your body gets used to being full of dopamine and it's no longer effective, and
Mm-hmm.
you are therefore
An
not
addict.
getting the benefit of the good feeling from dopamine, basically. Uh, and that purposely choosing to avoid some of the incredibly intense experiences that are available to us can be a longer term, more sustainable way of living life and being happy. So I thought that sounded relatively plausible, and I'm giving it a shot.
I find nothing to disagree with. So, yeah, it's very, very reasonable. So, does this mean we will not be seeing you in November?
I'll probably keep coming to the in-person tournaments.
Okay.
Um, I really do enjoy interfacing with people and seeing y'all. I mean, I know we don't interface as much anymore, but I still do sort of consider a bunch of people in the community to be friends, and it's fun to get together with friends. And
Absolutely.
there's something very self-limiting about the tournaments as well, because at the end of the day, the thing shuts down and then you go home. And so, yeah, I will probably come.
Great. Yeah, I can agree with that. And I think it does fit in with your dopamine theory that if you limit it to once or twice a year, then it really does only hit those peaks, and rather than, the constant stream of it the way that it would be if we were doing it, all year long. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes perfect sense. So let's turn back to your play style and kind of, again, for those who weren't here in 2020 and early 2021, there was this mystique around dimwit. There was the we have there have been multiple players over the course of the 5+ years. Well, no, this is the I can't do math where the zero starts. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. This is 5 years that we've been doing this. There have been multiple players who have been accused of being robots. You were the first. You gave me my first loss, and in fact, you can see next to me on the screen here that's it's me and you playing because I had barely squeaked into the 2020 final tournament, and so that meant I was playing the 1 seed, who happened to be you.
Mm.
Um, Describing that, what I recall of it seemed to me that you had this peak level of play, but whereas somebody like Packy would take and say you're graphing correctness versus speed, whereas if he had to err, would err higher on the speed, you would aim
Mm.
higher on the correctness. You always seemed
Hmm.
concerned with making the right play no matter what. How do you think that affected do you, first off, do you agree that was your style? And second, how do you think that played out? And do you think that from what you've seen, heard, whatever, do you think that would still be a viable play style in, the last couple of years?
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. I agree that that's a great way to describe sort of the dichotomy between Packy and I at that time. Um, and that was more or less a conscious decision pretty early on uh, in doing speedrunning for me. Um, Basically, my feeling from other hobbies I had done was that um, the way that you build good habits is by doing good things repeatedly over time. And, well, more to the point, the habits you build are built out of the things that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you spend your time focusing on what is the right move to play, it may be slower right now for you to do that because it may take you time while you're looking at the board to figure out what that move is and then to get there and do that kind of thing. But in the long run, I think it's a valuable thing to focus on because that lets you build the reflexes and the sort of brain patterns and thinking patterns and pattern recognition that can let you do those things quickly in the future. Um, and I am not sure that I ever got to the point where those habits were so ingrained that they just came out of my fingers sort of naturally and automatically. Um, but that was never really a goal for me. I mean, the goal was do the thing that I think is going to be the best for my play in the long term, not the best for today's game.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and I don't know that I necessarily figured out everything. My view from, every once in a while I'll pop into a Twitch stream or something and watch some folks playing, and I feel like there's the modern play, there's a whole bunch of things that people are thinking about now that were never part of my sort of board evaluation function. Uh, so probably there's a whole collection of things that were never part of my decision-making process that would be excellent things to include. So I don't know whether my style specifically would hold up today, but I think this attitude of like focus on what is going to make your future play as good as possible rather than your current play. I think that attitude is totally viable now and forever, basically.
Right, right. I mean, you were a Go player at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, I've always drawn the parallel between high level Dr. Mario and high level chess, and Go as an extension. That it's not about looking at being able to look at the board and go, oh, I can see 12 moves ahead because I can foresee every possible thing that can be done. It's looking at a board and saying, I've seen a pattern like this before. I know what I did the last time and I know how well that worked. I think if I follow this pattern but maybe tweak it a little bit, it can be better. And it's almost like how we teach AI to learn, where you're
Hmm.
seeing the same things over and over and you're making minor adjustments, but for the most part you're staying on the path that works the best.
I think that's very reasonable. I do think that there's a place as well for uh, sort of discontinuous leaps where
Yeah.
you have some insight that changes something fundamental, and then for the next little while you should be watching for that fundamental thing all the time and trying to find where patterns should be broken and things like that. I feel like there were probably 3 or 4 points in my development where I feel like there was like a light bulb went off in my head during during a shower or something, and uh, and that just you know took things to the next level in the next month or month and a half after that new idea. So I think I think you're right that there's definitely like an evolutionary strategy where you tweak and tweak and tweak until you get somewhere good. I also think just like in AI, that has the risk of getting you locked into a local minimum where to get to the next level, you really need to have an insight that kicks you up out of the local minimum and into a new space.
That makes sense. And it's funny you mentioned that because that's one of my aha moments was actually watching you. I was watching one of your streams, and as you do, you're sitting there thinking of where you would put these pieces. Does this make sense? And then I saw you lay something down over the top of pills that I was like, well, that's a misdrop. And and then what happens? You knock the horizontal out, and it drops those pills down. And for the longest time, I was like, I have a vague understanding of how this works, but it didn't click. And then when it finally did click, it
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay, now I see that everywhere, and I probably overdid it.
Yes.
Just like the
Well,
first time
this
you see
is
an
the way,
horizontal.
though. This is
Yeah.
absolutely the way. Yeah. Uh,
And I,
I've had several hobbies where, uh, the coach says, "Oh, this is the technique that you're missing, and you should just use it all the time, even when it's not appropriate, and then you'll figure out when
when it's
it's appropriate
appropriate,
and when it's."
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that with I always see it with new players when they figure out what a horizontal really is, because all of a sudden that's half their play is horizontals.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to the detriment early on, but once you hit that plateau and realize where it is, then it becomes a thing. I think as a community we've hit that with T clears, where
Mm.
you get your cross clears and your T clears and everything, and we very often, there are very specific places where that is the number one undisputed best place to do, or best thing to do. And there are other times where it just wastes time to look good. And we still, as a community in general, I think, haven't figured out exactly where that limit is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's fine. I think it's very natural to get into these spaces where, you know, you're just trying it to see. You got to try it in as many different situations as possible to see what makes sense and what doesn't. And in fact, one of the things I used to do uh, was every once in a while I would do a stream where uh, I had one of these ideas about something that might be good, and I then would try to construct a challenge for myself that would force me to do that. So one of them was, in fact, only make horizontal clears and see how far you can get.
Right.
Uh, and I think that was extremely valuable, like getting that practice of like, okay, there's a very natural move that I want to make here, but it makes a vertical.
Right.
So what am I supposed to do instead? Uh, it just gives you practice at sort of seeing and thinking about those things. I had a bunch of other ones. What I can't remember what else there was. There was like you can only make clears that have 6 or more pieces in it.
Oh, yeah.
So 4 in a row is doesn't clear. Like it does, but you're not allowed to use it. It's got to be 6 in a row. Uh, I had a bunch of these challenges. Oh, I had one where I wasn't allowed to rotate the pill.
Oh, I've seen that done before. That is tough.
That was a tough one. Um, I had one where uh, I wanted to clear an entire column. So I wanted it to be when I placed the pill that the column was full from top to bottom,
Oh wow.
and by the end was completely empty. Um, yeah, and there were just I had a lot of fun. Every time I came up with one of these challenges, I had a lot of fun coming up with it. I had a lot of fun trying it, and I feel like I always learned at least one thing that was helpful for my play from them.
Yeah, I remember watching you do low speed play specifically because you would just sit there and go, let it run as long as it needed to, and just sit there and go, okay, what's the right move here, and take as much time as you needed. I've actually used that. I've been teaching my wife how to play at her request. I will start with that at her request. But I realized she's panicking, so I would pull up an emulator and set the emulator's hotkey to pause emulation to like the R
Yes.
button, and then I could just freeze it and go, okay, take a look at it and tell me what the right play is. And then she would tell me,
Yeah.
and then I'd pull it off, and then I'm holding the controller, but she's directing, and that sort of it literally came from watching your streams, low speed. Let's see, what it's going to take, and just doing as much as you could to find. The words I always remember hearing you say is, that seems like it's the right move. You had
Hmm.
almost an obsession with the right move.
Yeah. I think probably one of my favorite streams to this day was the Thinker stream. I can't remember if I did one or two of them, but they were a lot of fun. Where I started on level 0,
Hmm.
and just like you're saying, I paused the emulator before every single pill, and I did my thinking out loud, and then people in chat would chime up with some thoughts of their own, and we'd debate a little while, and then finally I'd unpause it and play a move. Um, and uh, yeah, it's just I don't know that like the the outcome of that was that like we had some setups that were incredibly complicated,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like the
Oh yeah.
the payoff from them was like 20 moves down the line because we were still trying to figure out a way to place this pill that would make it useful even though none of that color was obviously available or whatever.
Hmm.
And so we had these just increasingly bizarre combos. But when they got knocked down and finally did their thing, oh, so satisfying.
And if you watch, the peak of Adelito's time, we're hoping that he'll be coming back to the fold. He's in Turkey, and there's concerns about Discord there. There's a ban on Discord there, and I don't
Oh,
know if that's the whole picture, but the, watching Adelito play, that is exactly what he would do. Is he would
yeah,
see, here's this garbage, but it's not going to be garbage because I'm going to find this, and this, and the ability to, to set up those 20-piece combos and plans that
yeah,
go that far apart. That is still something that is being constructed and considered today.
yeah. I mean, definitely. So at that time, Adelito wasn't around yet, but
Hmm.
uh, Inari 8000 was like my idol. I went and watched everything I could find that they had made because I mean, also his or her, I don't really know.
I don't either.
Their play style is also that where like, you know, on the fly at game speed, they're coming up with ridiculous sort of ways of delaying useless pieces to become useful.
Hmm. And it's so interesting because so many other games, they've got the tasks where it's possible to figure out what perfect play looks like, and then spend time, letting the humans kind of figure out what the task can do, and then the taskers are figuring out what the humans can do, and building on
Yeah,
each other. This we are the tasks here. There
yeah,
is no unless somebody comes around and does what Inari has figured out how to do, and that's, set up the exact frame that you need in order to get the board you want. We are all just trying to learn the idea instead of just getting one thing figured out perfectly. So there's always that creativity, and it's what makes this game so much more fun than so many others.
It definitely is possible with a little practice to get a specific seed.
Yeah.
And one of these days, I do dream of like routing an entire run, and but it's a huge, huge project
Yeah.
because there's just so many possible degrees of freedom.
And then, you got to figure out what it's I mean, what do you start with? The best possible 20, because that's going to take up the most time. Oh, there's so much to think about. I mean, because you could start off with a great zero, but a great zero might lead to a horrendous 11 or 19 or something
Yeah.
that would destroy the
Yeah.
run, and something less optimal to begin with. Oh, there's so much to think about, even beginning with that.
I do have a plan there, but
I won't
I don't
make
know how
you
practical
divulge.
it is.
I did find myself going through individual seeds using the practice ROM and just looking at the
Uh-huh.
zeros. There's some really nice
Uh-huh.
zeros out there, or like early
Uh-huh.
on in the hex code, but I don't even know if they're viable as play.
Hmm. I did a seeded level 0 run.
Yeah.
I think it's currently the world record.
And yeah, I will say, on that note, that is one of the things, since I PB'd recently, and I'm now the person below you, uh, and it got me to.
Nice.
I went back and looked at
Congratulations.
it. Oh, thanks. It's still like 11 seconds difference, so I don't even feel bad about it, because I know there's 11 seconds I could have grabbed in there, but not easily. So I don't feel bad about any of it. In 0 to 10, and it got me looking at SRC, and I went back and actually grabbed my seed. I pulled it up in Granivore to see exactly what seed it was, because it was so good from top to
Oh, it
bottom.
felt good, huh? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
clean.
And
Yeah.
now part of me wants to take like the top 50 runs in SRC and see, what seeds they got, which is
Uh-huh.
ridiculous. But I am
Yeah.
curious if there's, if there is a cluster of seeds that has proven to be
Oh,
viable
I
for
see.
high
Yeah.
level runners. Because, I mean, there's
Uh-huh.
there's a few. I don't know the Lua or the code nearly as well as you do, but I know that there are clusters that have like the same pill layout, or the same virus layout with different pills, and
Yeah,
and, and
yeah.
things like that. So it's got me curious.
Yeah, I was talking about this with one of my buddies, I don't know, 2 years ago or 3 years ago or something. And I was mentioning Deef.
Oh yeah,
You know, this seed is like
cursed.
notoriously awful to play.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I said was like when we're doing these seeded, 0 to 10s or whatever, everybody agrees on which ones are excellent and which ones are gross,
Mm-hmm.
despite the fact that we have wildly different play styles.
Yes.
And his response to that was like, "What is it that makes a good seed good?" And I, I thought about that a long time and really never came up with a good answer.
Let
But
me
there's got to be something. There's got to be something you can analyze and be like, this seed, this is
let me pile onto that, because I've only been to a couple of weekly checkups. In fact, I think they're going on right now. But one of the things I've noticed is, if you're in the audio with people, you will be able to tell where somebody is in any given seed from their reactions. They'll say something like
yeah,
"oop, fat log," and next thing you know, you see the exact fat log they're doing. Nope, not even
yeah,
watching each other. And I
Yep.
think it's because for a lot of the gameplay, we have standardized it. You know,
There's definitely some things that are orthodox now. Yeah.
exactly. And when we get in new players who completely break the game for the way we generally think of it, it really does open up a new chapter. Again, your Franks, your
Yeah.
Adelitos, Influx even has done some of that. Betty with her versus style has definitely over the years really kind of developed methods that have, like you said, become orthodox. And I think what makes a bad seed will fluctuate from year to year based on what is the current method, standard ways of
Mm,
looking at boards. I I don't
that
have
could be.
anything to back that up, but I bet it's true.
I still remember the first time I got a review of my Go play by a professional.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know how to express how far above the rest of the Go community the professionals are. Like, it's ridiculous how good they are. But anyway,
Okay.
I still remember the first review because somewhere in the middle, they said something like, "This play is standard play" or something like that. And I
Hmm.
was like, "Oh, dang! What should I have done instead?" And they were like, "No, no, standard is good. Like, it's standard because it's good."
Yeah, it's chess
And I
theory
think
too.
that's, it's as a game gets played and explored and all of that more and more, you you do develop these standard things, and the reason they become standard is because they are on average better than the alternatives.
Hmm. Yeah, we're seeing the development of that with something like swimming, which
Mm,
back in 2020, 2021 was just this weird idea that a couple of players had come up with, and now it sees its way into, I'd say, most matchups we see in
mm.
the main bracket. At least once you'll see somebody swim, and there are players who can, there are players who can't, and I think within a year or two, it's everybody will be able to for the most part. It just will it'll just become orthodox, and things that we wouldn't have thought to do back in 2020 will suddenly become obvious and clear, and nobody, like you said, it's the orthodoxy, it's standard play.
Yeah.
And
Well, if you're out there and you can't do it and you want to practice, I've got a tool for you called Bokri False.
is it on your website?
uh, it's it's on GitHub.
Okay.
Uh, I can put a link in chat, maybe, unless I'm gonna get banned for it.
Shouldn't. I'm pretty sure I allow links. If it gives you trouble, I'll, yeah, okay. Doesn't surprise me. I will also say that uh, your website. I remember the first time I looked at it and it said kicked out of a doctoral program for knowing too much. I had a nice chuckle at that. Your sense of humor is one that has always resonated well with me. Hooray
I can't
nerdiness.
take things too seriously.
Nope. Well, while we're on the topic of things you have built, and I did go back and watch your speed run, because that's my tradition. Is whenever I get a new PB, I check the player above me.
Oh,
For a while, it was out of a sense of self-loathing because I would look at their play and go, "Ugh, I see everything they're doing wrong. Why am I not better at this?" Now it's a matter of, okay, what is it that this player knows that I don't? And
uh-huh.
so tell me about, I've seen it a dozen times. Tell me about the tool you use or used for keeping up with your speed runs and figuring out how well a seed was going to do,
Well, a seed was gonna do.
or how well you were doing compared to all your pace. It's
Oh,
that
you're talking
extension
about
of your timer.
the
Yeah.
timer I made?
Yes.
All right. All right, all right. You wanted hours of content. Here we go. Okay. I think that the way speedrun timers, the way the majority of speedrun timers are designed is broken.
Agreed.
Just flat out broken. They were designed at a time when computers had one processor and you were sharing that processor between your timer and the game you were playing. So if your timer was using the processor, your game went slower and that made you worse. But we do not live in that world anymore. And we live in a world where computers have 8 cores on them and 10% of one core will run Dr. Mario.
Yes.
Um, and and we have not re-examined any of the assumptions that were made about how speedrun timers should work in that time. And uh, so I decided I was going to sit down and I was going to figure out what is the way that a speedrun timer should behave. And then once I figure out how it's going to behave, then I will figure out how to make it work that way. And if it requires a lot of computation, then it requires a lot of computation. So that was sort of the core principle of this new timer that I made, was that computation should be there to um, provide the user with the most valuable information that can be had. So I had a lot of thoughts about exactly what I wanted, and the exact thing that I wanted I never did get because it was so much computation that it couldn't be done in real time even with 8 cores. But maybe I'll get there one day. Maybe I'll have a new idea about how to make that happen. But here was my thought. My thought is there's sort of 3 purposes for speedrun timers. Um, one purpose is to know how fast you did the thing at the end so that you can report your result.
Right.
This is sort of the least interesting use of it. A much more interesting use is to decide whether you think you should kill the run. Right? So there's what do I mean by that? If your goal is to hit a specific time, like finish 0 to 20 in under 39 minutes, or maybe you want the world record under 35 minutes or whatever it is now, or maybe you just want a PB under 42 minutes. Anyway, if there's a specific time that you want to hit, then there are there's an optimal strategy for when to decide that you are so far behind the pace that you need to be at to hit that it's faster to just start a fresh run than it is to continue this one. The probability that you hit the time you're looking for on this run is so low that you might as well start over. So for that, the thing that I really want in my speedrun timer is I want a big box that's green or red.
Right.
Green means keep playing. Red means start over. I never did get there, but I had some ideas about statistics that would help you make a more informed decision about that without knowing the optimal answer. Um, so, so some of those statistics are like, the easiest one is if I played on the rest of the game from here as if I was in my PB. Like if I used my splits from the rest of my PB, how fast would the end time be? But you can do better than that. You can be like, okay, let's suppose that I played as well as I normally do, my median play. What time would I end at if I played with my median play from here? What if I was playing well? I was in my top 10% of play. When would my end time be? What if I'm playing badly right now and I feel like, I'm off today, and I want to know what is the 10% worst play. If I played like my 10% worst, where would I be? So these are the kinds of data that it plots. And one of the things that I needed for that to work well was much, much, much finer grained information about your progress through the game. So most speedrun timers today have on the order of 10 to 20 splits in a speedrun.
Right.
And part of the reason for that is because the player is toggling when the split happens.
Mm-hmm.
If the player is toggling it, they don't have time to input a bunch of detailed information and play the game. So you have to make the information coarse grained. So one of the things that I decided had to be a feature of my speedrun timer was auto splitting, so that I could have. So my timer has a split for every virus.
Right.
So there's about 1,000 splits in a game instead of 10. And one of the things that lets you do is it lets you make statistics like uh, I'm on virus 30 in level 16. What is the average amount of time that it takes to get to virus 29 from here? And what is the average amount of time it takes to get from virus 30 to virus 0, and then from there to the rest of the run? Um, so one of the first things I did was implement an auto splitter plugin for FCUX that lets me get very detailed information about the state of the game. At the moment, it only reports basically virus number and frame number, I think. But it's capable of doing other things. Anyway, yeah. So that's some of the thinking that I had building that speedrun timer.
All I know is it looks like a whole wind map uh, with the the arrows and the directions they're going. And I love that it makes sense to you. And I'm sure if I sat and looked at it a little bit longer, it would start making more sense to me. I was picking up little bits, but it's a fascinating tool, and I wholeheartedly agree that our 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 methods, I think, if nothing else, have a psychological effect that cannot be ignored, to the point that
Yeah.
on that PB run, I literally I made it a point to set the timer. It was a blank timer. It wasn't a constant split timer. I set it once. I glanced up at it after level 0 because it was a really good level 0 and I was curious where I was. I glanced up at
Uh-huh.
5 because that's my usual cutoff point. If it's over 5 minutes, I have to decide if I'm going to continue. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
I glanced up around, I think once I finished 9 because I wanted to see if I was within a couple of minutes of my PB. And then when I got done, if you watch that run, there's no change in my face. I had no idea I was that close. I knew it was a good run. I felt it
Yeah.
in my bones that it was a good run. But if I had glanced over and seen red, 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 I don't know that I'd finished it.
Yeah,
I, I
exactly.
probably would have, but I would have felt a lot worse about it. I would have been going, ugh, I need to be making it more time. When in reality, I got to the end and went, okay, this is fine.
Well, this is part of why I stressed if you have a time you want to hit.
Right.
Because a lot of the times, that's not really the reason that you're playing at the moment. Sometimes you sit down and you're like, today, I want to make the most efficient progress I possibly can towards getting a new PB.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you do that. But a lot of times you just like, you know what? I feel like playing some Dr. Mario right now.
Oh,
So
what's
it's
that like?
definitely not the case that always your goal is make the optimum decision for getting a target finish time. Um, and I think in my rambling, incoherent speech, I ended up losing the third purpose for a speedrun timer and not talking about that.
Oh, that's
But
okay. Feel free to go ahead with it.
the uh, the the third purpose is to basically I think it's exactly what you touched on. It's a psychological thing, right? So I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Somebody asked him like, "What's the best workout?" And his answer was, "The best workout is the one that you do."
Yeah.
And so I think the third purpose of a speedrun timer is to hype you up and make you excited about playing Dr. Mario or whatever game it is you're trying to speedrun. And I only realized this like very late in the development. So at the moment there's not a lot of features for this, though I have ideas about how it should be done. But basically the thing that you want is, first of all, you want to use the literature on sort of randomized reward and increased spacing between rewards. So you
Mhm.
want to have the first 3 times you play, you want it to tell you you're amazing and you did something amazing in that
Yeah.
run. Once you've played 10,000 games, you want it to be a little bit rarer. And, maybe once every 10 games, it tells you about something spectacular that you did. And you want it to be unpredictable because the literature tells us that unpredictable is the most addictive, um, and so you really want some part of the timer that does that. And I think existing timers, one of the things that they do that sort of sits in that space is called golds. Is when
Hmm.
you hit a split faster than you've ever hit that split before. That's an exciting moment.
Yep.
It drives you, it motivates you, it drives the people watching you, they get excited. It's a very very psychological uh, effect. A big hook to keep playing the game. And my timer does a terrible job of that, for sure.
Unless you're a
Uh,
meteorologist.
but but I think that's sort of the third one is like keep you hooked, keep your viewers hooked, drive hype, drive engagement, that kind of thing. Um, yeah,
I mean that makes sense. I not only did I go back and watch your speed run, I went back and watched my first submission, which was over 18 minutes and makes me shudder just thinking about. But I caught a glimpse of my run counter and it was at 8. It was like, okay,
yeah,
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 this is, and I remember, multiple times within those first couple of months going, oh, got a PB again, got a PB again. It's not under 15 yet. That's where I want to get, but making that granular improvement. And it's a real hit of dopamine, and
yeah,
psychologically that's what you're there for. And yeah, it gets real difficult later on. So I like the idea of something that tells you, hey, you did really well at this time. So
yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I had a bunch of ideas there about how to make that happen. I just haven't had time to make it go. But like you could imagine that so one of the things that it does do at the moment that I didn't talk about is it will show you the probability that you hit your target time
Hmm.
starting from your current state.
Okay.
And this is like the closest I've come to having really good advice about the optimal time to stop. But it's very exciting to watch that on a good run be like, oh, it started out as 1 in 150 because I've played 150 games, and now it's at 1 in 10, so I've been doing really well, right? Like,
Right.
or you look at it and you go, oh my God, it's over, 1 in over 100,000. Maybe this run isn't going so
But
well, or
that's when you look
whatever.
at the timer and go, never tell me the odds.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, but there's a lot of things you could do that are in that space of like, I mean, there's so many things that you do in a run that are special, and you can evaluate what is the probability in a typical game that you do something that special or better. So if you want really fine-grained control of how often you're getting rewards, you can get that just by setting the threshold of, probability that it does that analysis at. So it does the analysis, here's the 5 things in that game that you might want to highlight for the user as being exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the probability of achieving each of those, and then, if you want one exciting moment every 10 games, you pick the 10% threshold and show one of the ones that's above the 10% threshold, and you get exactly the rate that you want. And you get the randomness, and you get all the other good stuff. And I think, like I said, golds are a really cool sort of self regulating version of that, but there's a lot of other things that you could report as exciting moments.
Right.
Um,
It,
yeah.
do you see a future where a tool like that is also tied in with a replay function that would allow you to see exactly what it is that got you to this point?
I am sort of in the background, have been working on such a tool for a long time, and just got excited about hacking on it again maybe 2 weeks ago or something, when I had a shower thought about how to break through a block that was preventing me from making progress on it. So yes, I do have that as a vision. One day we should have, good game analysis tools that let you step through moves one at a time and explore what would happen if you had made other moves and stuff like that. I think those would be very valuable, and I think they're missing from the community at the moment. They have these things in chess and in Go, right, where it just shows you the board, lets you step through, and you can try variations, and you can say, at the end of this variation, things look good or things look bad or whatever, and you can share those reviews with other people, and we don't have any of that. We don't have any of that, right?
Yeah.
All of the stuff that we do is, well, you play back the video and you say something aloud.
Well, I mean, chess and Go have only been around for what, 1200, 1300
Yeah,
years.
that's right. That's
I
right.
mean, we're at 30 years, 35 years with this game. We should be there at this point. So yeah, no, you're right. And it's no more
But yeah,
complicated than that.
so I've been working on some computer vision for Dr. Mario stuff, and my exciting achievement last weekend is I have a thing which can take a frame of a video of Dr. Mario and highlight the outline of the board.
I believe I saw that in the Discord. I believe you posted some of that.
Could be, could be.
I I I,
I've
I
done I've done something like this in the past with machine learning, and it never really worked right. It sort of worked okay, but it took a beefy GPU, and the result was only kind of good. So the thing that I'm working on now is fast,
Wonderful.
fast enough to run in real time. So on a CPU with no GPU. So that's my exciting hobby project at the moment. We will see. Perhaps one day we'll have it.
Meanwhile, I can barely get my auto splitter to take a look at my OBS screen and actually tell when to split. It's because I'm not using, an emulator. I'm trying to pull visual data,
Yeah,
and
that's a hard problem.
it is because
Yeah.
the signal can be just a little bit weird today, and then it doesn't read at all.
Yep.
So
Yep.
such is the way of things. But yeah, it's always fun to hear what people like you and Exact Same and DM Hero have been cooking up in terms of how to play with this game, both with the original code and with what the code is outputting. So
Mhm.
it's I think these tools are going to be very helpful. That's one of my stated purposes of this whole series, is to give commentators in particular, but give the community better tools for understanding how different players play, what their thought processes are, so that we can be better at describing what it is we're seeing on the board. So having physical or electronic tools that can give us that sort of data in addition
Yeah.
to the something empirical as opposed to something words.
Yeah, you're a data guy. You love
Oh,
trolling through data.
oh yeah. I have an Excel file that is way too large that contains 30 years worth of circulation data for my library system. I'm the only person who cares enough to have it. So yes, I am 100% a data guy. I run the spreadsheet that you'll listen to Dr. Mario streams, and somebody will say, this is the third time these two have met each other, and it's always been a split decision. It's never been a sweep, and chances are they're reading off the sheet that I make and constantly
Uh-huh.
keep updated, because which I'm just pulling from what Floyd and DM Hero have made on the website, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's because this is important. It's important to understand the stories behind what we're doing, and to be able to dig deep into the information and pull out something that's interesting, so that people get an idea of this is why this is important
Hmm.
in the history of the game. And
Yeah.
I think that's why these conversations are important. Why and why what you guys are doing on the technical side is really really critical as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally on board. I love data too. And in fact, one of the things that so there was a lot of thought went into my speedrun timer. So
Yeah, I
I'm
could
this is
tell.
very unlikely that I'll be able to say all of the things that I thought about as I was building it. But one of them was the Unix philosophy, do one thing and do it well.
Yeah.
So this was a core principle as I was designing it as well. So one of the things that I decided was storing data should not be the job of the timer.
Okay.
Should use one of the many excellent databases that, you
Right.
know, very smart people have sunk hundreds of man years of effort into developing. So it uses a database to store splits and information about games and information about when it started and stopped and everything it wants to store.
Mm-hmm.
And the result of that has been occasionally people have asked questions about like how variable are times? And then I can go give a data driven answer from my collection of speedruns and say, for me, this is what it looks like. Not everybody is that way. But having that data in an easily queryable format, I think it's very valuable. And you never really know what it is people are going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
I think one person asked how much quicker are the first virus clears compared to the last virus clears in a level?
Oh yeah.
How are you gonna if you don't have your data in a machine readable, queryable format, how are you supposed to answer a question like that? You can't.
Qualitatively,
So anyway,
or
I'm
we already
super on
know.
board, super on board with the idea that get that data down in a good way, and that will be worth something at some point.
Yeah, I mean that's we right now we use a qualitative data set, which is just basically, whenever somebody is finishing up a level and their opponent is at the beginning of a level, to go, okay, when this player you can't compare
Yeah.
when they get into the level. If I've got 4 viruses left on my previous level and you're starting your next level, I'm not 4 viruses behind,
That's right.
in the way that once I
Yeah.
get done with the level and you're 12
You're
viruses ahead,
12. Yeah.
it's
Or
probably the
more.
same difference.
Yeah.
And we've learned enough in the booth to be able to say, okay, so this is where we are, but you're going to notice that they're going to move faster early on. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a qualitative data set. We do not have a quantitative data set for this,
Yeah.
but we could. That's what I'm hearing. But we could. And oh, and this is, I flat out told you I was considering going through 50 seeds worth of speed runs and seeing what they are in Grandivore and looking for patterns. You know, this is the sort of thing that gets my motor running. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so do we want to talk about the actual tournament we said we were going to talk about?
Sure, why not?
No, I fully envisioned this going at least an hour, just you and me talking about your history and big surprise into data. So
I will be a little bit sad to see the this beautiful streaming layout with Dr. Mario graphics, and then right in the middle, level select screen chopped into the most bizarre shape and position. I'll be sad to see that go, but we should let it go and see some actual gameplay in that space instead.
yeah. So, bring me into your mindset. I'm going to let it run up until we actually get started playing. Bring me into your mindset. It's the beginning of December, and, um, you have obviously been a dominant force for the past 5 months, six, seven, I don't know, since May. I think you've lost once in this time period.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
How,
I,
yeah, just get me into your brain there.
I don't know. I mean, just doing something I enjoy doing. It's not really that deep, to be honest. Um,
Totally fine. And it was
I
twice.
was, what's that?
It was twice. You had lost twice prior to this.
Important correction. Thank you. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't, to be honest, I don't really think that that's so much a testament to my skill. I think that's mostly a testament to how early we were in exploring what makes a fast player at this game. Um, I think a lot of people had played it as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but speedrunning is very different from playing just in just about every game. Like one of the things that got me excited about speedrunning in Dr. Mario is how close it is to just playing the game well. But it still is a very different skill than just, if you just sat down and picked the game up and started playing with it. I'm not sure that you would come out with the speedrunning things that people have come up with.
Oh, certainly not.
And I think especially we've seen that, we've done like score tournaments as side events and stuff like that. And the style of play on those is wildly different. Um, so yeah, I think, the fact that I had won a lot is mostly a testament to the fact that the only thinking I had ever done about the game was about how to speedrun. And most of the other people who had played as a kid and had habits that were non-speedrunning habits. And we were just all still building our muscle memory for what makes you good at speedrunning at that time.
I mean, you're not wrong, but at the same time, this was back when it was still 13-17 in the finals. That extra level, and you had to be good both at these shorter bursts, the 6 to 9, getting done with it in under 7 minutes, and then into these marathon sessions where you're playing 5 levels from 13-17, and it just took forever. And then you had to do it 3 to 5 times.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself a little short there, but I don't disagree with, there was still a lot of new on the board there, but you were still somebody who people were having trouble finding a way to beat you. And I'll point out, I had the same number of losses at this point that you did. I'd been playing for 2 months by this point, and we had the same number of losses. So Uh, and
All right, so it should be a good matchup.
I don't know if you saw, I did say something in chat in the Discord a few months ago that I think the dimwit line needs to be something that we define as a community at 54 wins, and we need to start celebrating when people pass that. Influx just did, by the way. Influx is now tied with
Hey,
you with at number 5 for most wins all time, and let me pull that list up because it is a very small list. It is Packy, of course, at number 1 with 95 wins. Adelito, Floyd, and Frank are the only players who have more total wins than you. Savage will
eh,
get there in the next couple of months.
that's a pretty elite crew.
Yeah, it really is. Influx is tied with you. He got to his 54 with 3 fewer losses. So take that for what it's worth. Actually, is it with 3 fewer losses because you lost your
And
last
later in the
match?
meta.
Oh, nope, it's the same number of losses because
Yeah.
you did lose your last 3 matches, but that is neither here nor there. Anyway, all that to say that I think you sell yourself a little short there, but I do agree that it was a different time. It was the Wild West, and you're about to drop this blue red in column 2 vertically, which I think is the exact right play.
Yeah, that seems pretty good.
Yeah. Obviously setting up for that horizontal on the blues. Now, do you do you think setting the blues horizontally get the play out of the way and then have access for, the next couple of red blues, or do you think go ahead and set this next double blue vertically on 6, get the obvious clear and not waste a pill half?
It's got to be horizontal, but not for the reason you said.
Okay. By all means, enlighten me.
Uh, so one of the things that I want to see happen, the okay, you see there's a cluster of red in the top left there.
That I
Columns
do.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all have red. Once this blue horizontal goes away,
Mm-hmm.
all 5 of those columns are red. Means there's going to be a lot of red pressure in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
And the consequence of that is it's really, really important to be efficient with red.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the obvious, most efficient thing to do with red is to make sure that you clear first and fifth column horizontally.
Okay.
Because you want to clear that horizontally, uh, it's important that you do not begin setting red pills vertically on column 5.
Okay.
The consequence of that is same comment about column 1. You don't want to place red vertically on column 1. The consequence of that is it's sort of hard to perch a pill up there to finish that horizontal
Mm-hmm.
because the obvious places to perch it are in columns 1 and 5, and that's where you don't want to place a pill. So double blue is actually the only pill that you can place horizontally there without making garbage, I think.
Interesting.
I suppose if you look far enough ahead, you might be able to look down the left side of the board and maybe like a yellow blue would work or something like that. But that's making plans that are 10 years in the future, and that doesn't always work out the way you want it to. So my view is that the horizontal is absolutely the right play here.
Interesting. And then my greedy butt just realized that if you placed it blue up in 5, you could take out the blues in 3. With the double blue, you could take out both sets, but then, that kind of defeats the whole
Yeah,
purpose you just set up. So,
that's probably also pretty good.
yeah, I mean, it's
But
an
yeah,
efficient,
I don't think blue is the priority here. I
it's not.
think most of this blue has very efficient methods of being cleared.
And that's specifically, that is something I learned just listening to Adelito. He would describe it that way. He would say, "Blue is not my problem here, so I don't
Yeah.
care how I clear the blues because the blues are
Yeah.
going to take care of themselves."
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I agree with you that red is going to be a problem child. And so I'm interested to see how this plays out. So you're going
You
to
will
set,
see if my predictions come true. We'll also see if past Dimwit agrees with.
you clearly do.
Yeah.
Okay, so a red,
Well, we won't know on this pill. We'll know on the next pill whether past Dimwit agrees with me
okay,
or
well,
not.
let's see if you are agreed with.
Past Dimwit disagrees.
Oh, me. Well, but you've got a double red coming.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Let's see what happens with it.
are you are you of a mind that tucking that into 1-2 is still the right play or
Absolutely. Yeah.
okay.
100%.
See, I'm trying to think what I would even do with that. It's a tough setup. Listening to Dawn last
I think
week,
column two is also very sensible. Vertical on column two is also very sensible.
I agree there. Something I think Dawn might have thought of is tucking it in underneath that red blue pill, so that if you get another red blue, then you've got an immediate double clear, and you can start working the 1 and 4 vertically. It doesn't take care of that
Hmm.
horizontal that you had talked about, but it does still, do something. So I don't know. It's a lot of interesting options there.
Yeah, that seems plausible. If you're gonna commit to playing those vertically, then yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
And you did go with the in column. You did go into column 2, and you're getting another red blue. So I would assume you're going to go either 1-2 or 5-6.
Gotta
Pot.
be 5-6.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one will probably tuck into Dawn's position, would be my guess.
Underneath the into 5-6 or into 4-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially you've got a blitz coming. So at some
If
point,
there's a blitz coming, that makes it even better because then you get your T clear, right?
uh, probably. Oh yeah. Okay.
You get a
Yep.
T with the red in column one if you have
Vertical
a
in
bunch of
1, and
double
then
reds.
tuck
So
into one
you
two.
place
Yeah.
the first double red in Dawn's position, the second double red goes horizontally in 2-3, and the third double red goes vertically in 4.
Okay. I was seeing a different one. I was seeing tucking it into 4-5, vertically in 1, and then horizontally in 1-2 to get the viruses in 1 and 3. But
Oh, that's also a solid choice, yeah. In fact, that might be better. One of the issues is the red in column 3 is sort of, well, so the red in column 4 is directly blocking a double blue from
agreed.
making an efficient clear. But relying on doubles is generally unwise,
Mm-hmm.
and another plausible way to make progress towards that horizontal is to drop some blue from above, with the other half being something else. And the red in column 3 is blocking that from happening. So
Mm-hmm.
your T clears the red in column 3 instead of the red in column 4, which might be better. And it's tough. It's a close call.
And do
I
you
don't. The thing that I don't like about it. Okay, that I don't. So this is a less more theoretical and less practical concern. We know that double red blitzes are common. So
mm-hmm.
if we see two double reds in a row, we're like, oh, okay, we can take our time being efficient with red here and do whatever. But like, that's just a flaw of the NES implementation, right?
Exactly.
That's not really the game as she was intended. Uh,
If we wanted to play
in
the
the
game
game as
as it
she
was
was
intended,
intended, I like the vertical play a lot less because it makes drop time a much bigger problem if you don't get your next double red.
if we wanted to play the game as it was intended, we play the SNES version.
Yes, I I'm continually shocked that we do not.
I think it's just availability. So,
Yeah.
do you recall if at this point we were in general well aware of the circle of pills that the red yellow was coming next?
Don't remember when we discovered that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because at this point, the other conversation I'm having with myself in the back of my mind is, where does the red yellow go?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, tucked in under 7-8, on top of 7-8. Yeah, I think that's counting your chickens before they hatch, because the odds of you
I guess
getting
another reason to like your tea.
because
Okay, this is actually probably more important. Okay. I like your tea a lot better now. So the thing that's nice about your tea, the column 3 red
mm-hmm,
doesn't have anything to pair up with to clear it efficiently.
right.
But the column 4 red, if you desandwich, can be very efficiently cleared.
Oh yeah,
So
I see.
leaving that on the board is completely fine.
Okay, didn't even think of it that way, but that's a good reason. All right, well, let's see what does actually happen. Oh,
Uh,
and it wasn't actually a double. It wasn't actually a double red blitz. It was
uh,
only three. That's weird. That should have been a blitz, but you're getting a yellow blue after.
uh,
I don't
is
know.
3 enough to be sure it's a blitz?
I
I
thought
didn't
three
get
was a
3. I only
threshold.
got 2.
Did
Only
you?
got
Oh
2.
yeah, because the other two are that's a pair of
That's not a
singles.
double there. It's singles, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought for certain it was a blitz coming.
It's it's overwhelmingly likely once you've seen 2 of them, does isn't
Yeah.
it?
Okay, so a yellow blue. I mean, you've got the obvious play is 7-8, but that doesn't make it the right play.
Oh no, that's terrible. Don't do that.
I agree, but it's the top down play. I like
Yeah.
a 6-7 tuck. What are you thinking?
I'd probably go with the 5-6 tuck. I don't think you want to. So, in these lower levels, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I think it's something that people don't talk about much. Hey, Packy.
Welcome, Impact.
Yeah. In these lower levels, one of the resources that you need to manage that's very valuable is open space.
Okay.
Um, Having the open space available on the right to make plays with the yellow and red on 7 and 8,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important not to block yourself from doing something there.
Okay.
So I think for me, this, like, with the benefit of infinite time to think,
Of
right?
course.
Like,
Of course.
I want it in 2, 3, 4. I want it 5 and 6 at the very bottom.
On the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
With the yellow to the right, I'm assuming that would
Uh-huh.
otherwise it would be
Yeah.
just ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. My only thought
That
process would
that's setting up for a T, and the blue has a half a chance of becoming useful
that's true.
by
That's
the
true.
end.
Yeah, I don't always see it horizontally that way, so that does make good sense. And
And there's no the 6-7 play guarantees fall time. This doesn't have a guarantee of fall time, although it probably still will have
yeah,
some.
yeah. Blue
Harder maneuver
reds.
though. I wonder how much that matters.
What's that?
It's a harder maneuver. I wonder how much that matters. This
That
is something that I never really got around to thinking carefully about. But like there's a trade-off between uh efficient plays that are hard to reach
mm-hmm.
and inefficient plays that you just press down or whatever. I was never very good at balancing that, and I just had never really thought carefully about how to make that trade-off, but probably here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The amount of red means that it's sort of tough to find an easy to reach place to put a yellow blue pill that's still decent.
Yeah. There's not going to be a good spot. You're right about that. I refer to the process of being able to get a tuck at full speed as beef tipping, just because I was like, that'd be a stupid name for something that like skateboarders would come up with. And that's what I decided to try to use it for. But yeah, there's definitely a trade off. And I think it depends on the player,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
because some players can really knock that out and some just do not have that skill set. So
Yeah.
looking at your next pill, it's a red blue that, again, with the benefit of infinite time, I still think vertical 3 is probably my favorite move for that.
Hmm.
But I'm curious your take.
So how much fall time is that?
That is,
One, two, three, four, five
yeah, that's
five
5.
rows?
That's 75 frames.
There's
Or
one, two, three, four,
it's
five,
not 70,
six.
it's,
So depending on where this yellow blue goes, it may still be correct to make the efficient horizontal red clear.
interesting. That's a lot of drop time. I
Well, it's
mean,
about the same actually. It's 6 rows versus 5.
yes. I mean, you've got the option for a fat log, and you are set up where you've got two separate yellows that you could work with.
And it's still the case that the sandwiching, yeah, I guess that doesn't really matter because it doesn't, the column 4 doesn't get cleared in either move, so that
Right.
does isn't a desiderata.
And I mean, would you say we're past the point where you're worried about red since there's already so much of it? Efficiency with red isn't really going to matter as much.
Uh, Efficiency probably doesn't matter as much, but it's just still sort of awkward. I guess I don't even know, like, it at game speed, I don't even know which red and something else pill I want in each of those
Yeah.
positions, right?
The double reds are the only thing you want at this
Yeah,
point.
sort of, which makes them somewhat higher priority.
And I'll tell you what's funny is that with your 1-5 horizontal there, my 6-7 tuck in the yellow blue actually makes more sense, because then you've
It does,
got,
yeah.
which is hilarious that we
Yeah,
came to.
this is why I said depending on where the yellow blue goes.
Yep. Okay, well, let's see where the yellow blue goes. Okay. And
That's an even more different move.
it is definitely one of the moves that exists. I think you were looking at the yellow horizontals trying to get them efficiently. And this double
Yeah,
blue, oh man. What do you do with a double blue in a situation like this?
you do the obvious thing.
What, put it on 7-8 or put it vertically in 3?
7, 8, huh?
I no, it's
Oh, yeah, I
that's
see. Yeah.
that's versus play talking. I talked to Dave Smith and he said he always sets his doubles horizontally because that it sets up for combos better. That's
Huh.
one of those things I'm having trouble getting out of my head, even though it's not always the most efficient speed play.
I guess I may not be the fastest at thinking.
No,
Oh.
I've literally just talked to so many people about this game in the past few months. They're all of their voices are in my head now. So what to you is the obvious play?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Something with the blue on the right might be good. I mean the like the gut reaction play for me is vertical in 3.
Yeah, and that is perfectly valid, I think, and makes, I don't know how much quicker it makes a red yellow coming up, gosh,
Dr. Mario community is ook multiple playstyle personalities
it's
now.
true. But yeah, it does. If you get a red yellow, it gives you the opportunity to approach that tuck from the left instead of from the right, which the
Yep.
right requires two inner tucks and actually has a lot higher margin of error, which is a whole
Yeah.
nother stat we could be talking about. But
Yeah.
that is so much harder to quantify. Okay, let's just see where you put it. Vertical. There you go. All right,
Yeah.
so it's a red blue
Oh God.
1-2.
What do you do with that?
1-2 and give up on the efficiency on the blues because who gives a crap? There's only
Could
five
be.
of them
Yeah.
left.
It doesn't even give up on it. It just makes it more different.
That's
Right?
true.
So if you clear the yellow horizontally,
Mm-hmm.
you still get the same efficiency,
Right, because you
actually.
can take the verticals out and then it's just drop time. I'm with you there. I also see a tuck in 7-8.
Yeah, 7-8 also looks very plausible.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what you do with it. Okay,
Oh, interesting.
it
So
is.
I guess one thing that does is sets up for no, I don't like that. It does set up for a double blue, but yeah,
Yeah.
I don't like that. It is there is a sense in which column 3 is now empty,
Yep. I agreed. It's a
and
trash column.
so it's not actually trash. It's not blocking anything,
Yeah.
but
Okay. So this double red 5 is
yeah.
an obvious
5.
choice. I the 6-7 tuck is calling to me a little bit though
The 6-7 tuck.
to get the red in 8.
Oh, yeah. This is also excellent. Yes. This
Okay.
is why you keep that space open,
Yeah,
specifically for a double red. Yeah.
absolutely. All right, so it's another red blue coming down, and
Guarantee that's going in column 4. Past me and current me agree 110%.
oh, I see that. Okay, see, that's not something I see in real time. That's a really really smart play, but it forces you to prioritize the blues over the yellows,
Uh,
which
why?
you're setting it vertically in 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
With
saying.
red down.
You have to prioritize the blues over the yellows because if you set the yellows up,
Oh,
it's going to
yeah.
turn the
For
blues into
sure.
garbage.
Yeah,
That
but look how much other yellow there is.
Oh, agreed. It's just it becomes a prioritization issue,
Yes.
and
It
sometimes I
does.
get
It does.
stupid
It
at
makes
that.
a dependency. Yep. It makes a dependency. I
But
agree.
there's 0% chance before we talk that I see that. So this is a great idea. And no, past you disagree.
No. Okay, that's fine.
This is what I love about doing this is listening to people like start crying, start crashing on themselves.
Oh
I didn't even
no.
see what the next one. I think it's a red yellow next.
Hmm.
That goes in 5, right? I think it's got to go in
Red,
5.
yellow.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well the
What's
next one
your
goes in
play
5.
in 5? Is
Just
vertical with yellow down
yeah. Just to
or vertical with red down?
no vertical with yellow down.
Yellow down.
Yeah, I think forcing yourself into a double red dependency is a poor choice. But there's another yellow red coming, so now I'm
On the
just
other
like,
hand, it lets you play towards that red earlier.
yeah, it's really what you think the
I
odds.
I think you're right. I think it's vertical. Um, how do I feel about what actually happened? I guess it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think?
I, I agree. I think okay is about all I can say about anything you can do with a red
Yeah.
yellow right now. I mean, at the very least, you're going to get your horizontal.
Seven,
And
eight also seems like a plausible choice.
yeah, yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked to see you lay the next one down in 7-8 and just kind of hope for something. But no, it's happening. Oh, and the
Yeah.
double red comes right after.
Yeah.
Oh, do you lay it down?
Of course.
Okay, good. Just checking. Okay, the next two are clear. And that double blue comes like just a little late. Oh, okay.
Mm.
Okay, so I can see where that
What's
red
happening?
pill half doesn't matter anymore because you're setting up, you've got the blue there, and you could do a yellow horizontal. It would break up the pair in two, but would allow you, especially with the yellow blue, to go ahead and set up to where the blues are able
Yeah.
to drop. Interesting. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know where this one goes. This is tough.
yeah, it's either 2-3 or vertical in two, and I don't know which. 2-3.
Could go vertical in 3 as well.
Vertical in three. Yeah, that's what I think I meant. Yeah. Okay, so I like this play, and I think I don't love this play. Okay. Okay, I see it now. The hope is that the last yellow that you put onto 6 is going to be a yellow blue so that it drops vertically into the pit and takes that blue out horizontally.
Probably the thinking is that the yellow in or the blue in 7 and the yellow in 6 go together.
Right. What, you going to fat log them?
That way you don't need a vertical drop time.
Well, judging by what you're doing now, I'm curious how that's going to work, but I can't wait to see.
No, the upper blue in 7
Oh.
and the yellow in 6.
Okay, cool. Let's see it happen.
I mean, I don't know. This is my thinking now.
That's
Past
great.
Dimwit is a different person.
Yeah. You get a red blue, I'm guessing 1-2, because you're already kind of
Seems
committed to that
likely.
play. And there's
Yep.
another one. And now what do you do with it? Oh,
Vertical in 3, red down.
vertical in three, red down on a red blue. Okay, I give you that. I would also argue.
It sets up for the yellow TD sandwich and for the red horizontal at the end game.
Okay. Yeah, my only other argument would have been since the yellow is coming to clear out those doubles in two and have the blue red on top so that you can just drop the red pill half so that everything drops into. But yeah, no, I like the idea of a T better. And there it goes. So there's the
I got it
setup.
upside down.
No,
Got it upside down.
no,
Rip.
you don't. This is actually right because you're going to T it.
What? No, 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 no.
You're 100.
Pause. Pause it. Pause it. Pause it.
You're
How is that right?
you're 100% about to T the yellows in one and two.
Yeah. But the red blue is upside down.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. You did do that upside
Yeah.
down. I will give you that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
All
I thought you were talking about the yellow red. I was like, how is it wrong?
right.
Nope. You're right. You're right. I see what you did, and now so do you. Okay,
Rip.
there it goes, and yeah. Let's see if we can see the look. Nope, you give
Would have been
no
the end of the
indication.
red if I done it right.
You give zero indication that that was incorrect, and I think even then you knew. Keyboard players, man. No, I'm joking.
Oh, was I a keyboard player still at
Were
that
you? I
time?
don't
It's
know.
possible. I don't either. I don't remember when I switched.
I mean, the way your hands are positioned, it looks like they could be spread out, but I don't know. Okay, if you can come up with a better solution than 2-3, I would love to hear what it is. I can't imagine there is one.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good plays. Um, One trick that I learned from Inari is if you have like blue, who cares? So yellow is the most important half to use.
Okay.
So one thing you could do is plan on having a blue horizontal in columns 5, 6, 7, 8 at height one above where the top virus is.
Okay.
And that gives you a place for all manner of blue. You absorb a bunch of blue there. Red blue, yellow blue, double blue.
Fair enough. But at the moment, you've got
And
access to red, blue, and yellow, blue.
sort of, yeah. You don't really want to clear the current dimwit thinking. Who knows
Yeah,
about past
all
dimwit?
ears.
Probably past dimwit is placing it 2-3. But current dimwit thinking is that columns 1 and 2 you kind of want to clear together. Uh like hmm if you clear columns 2 and 3 together,
Okay.
the it's a lot harder to clear column 1 because then
It's red on
you're
red.
using red on red.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think your red yellows are supposed to go in column 1. That's my current thinking.
You're making a lot of assumptions about what you're going to get. This is Dr. Mario. All right. Well, let's have some fun.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I'm Oh, that's an even more different move.
That is a more different. What is this move? Is it a misdrop or is it a?
It was way too confident for misdrop.
Yeah. I
Because
don't know. My
what I mean is the second pill was already above it, like instantly above it, right? If it was a misdrop, the second pill would be one column left right now.
Interesting. I mean, is it?
I guess the plan is that eventually that second blue gets cleared horizontally. I can't imagine what else would be
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I disagree with it. I guess maybe the thinking, maybe even past Dimwit thinks 1 and 2 should go together.
I mean, it does make sense if you think of it that way, because then you've got a place to put red blues,
Mm-hmm.
which you're giving up right now by dropping these three in a row. Which, let's see if that's what you do: 1, 2, and 3, and there's a red yellow, so that's going in 1, 2.
Nope. I think it's just wrong.
Okay,
I think it's just wrong.
fair enough. And okay, okay.
Wait, hold on. Can we go back to the first? Yeah.
Stop me when
Oh,
you're
that's
ready.
too far. Yeah, here's good.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I think it's just wrong. I think it's just wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was all
The
ears.
thing I was thinking about is like, did I somehow give myself better color diversity by doing this? But I don't think so. Because I mean, most of the columns are yellow, so adding another yellow column isn't helping.
Yeah. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, blue is. I can't make any heads or tails of it. It's
Yeah,
8
blue is
blues
for sure not important.
to 12 reds and 12 yellows. But they're pretty. The reds and yellows are pretty well scattered evenly, so I don't know.
I still think that the column 8 play was right at the
It's
start of the level.
it's a fascinating idea, and the more I think about it, the more I
So
think you're probably right.
one of the things that's good about it. So the problem with okay, look at column 3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed drop time unless I get a double blue.
Right.
This is the problem with playing on uneven, playing flat on uneven sort of stacks. Is one of them gets built up and the other one clears, and you now have fall time. So the benefit of the column 8 play is you're more or less guaranteeing that there's only one row of drop time when the time for drop time comes.
It's a very interesting theory is not the word I mean, but it is the word I mean. It's an interesting, game theory
Yeah,
for lack of a better word. So,
sure.
ooh, and I'm
Yeah.
getting hit with blues. That sucks over there on my side. But we both know how this game goes. All right, let's continue. Yeah, there's your drop time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I agree with going 6-7 when you've got 3-4 and the opportunity to dig deeper into your board. I
Yeah.
personally like blowing a hole in the middle of my board so I've got access to what's below.
Yeah. 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 The
Okay.
maneuvering space is an extremely valuable resource right now.
Okay. Just
Yeah, I agree with you.
good news is you got a double red coming. So if it doesn't go on one, I'm not sure what to tell you. It goes on two, but it's a blitz. That doesn't last long. I wholeheartedly agree with your comment that clearing out one is dangerous and it needs to be a priority. And there you go. You pull it off there. That was an early fight I had with myself in the game was I did not understand. Interesting placement of red, but I guess red doesn't matter at this point, and you're thinking horizontals, right? The red,
Yeah, yeah. That's for the horizontal at the bottom for sure.
okay,
Yeah.
or like it's just trash because what's the point? Because you're gonna take
No, it's for the horizontal.
the
I would not put a blue yellow there.
no,
Only blue red.
I meant the yellow red.
Oh, oh. Oh, yeah, yeah. For
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
it's like
It's just
yellow
trash.
matters
Yeah.
a lot more than red right now. It's trash, yeah.
Right. Okay. Because
Yeah.
you're thinking double horizontals, I would assume, or both horizontals, regardless. Anyway, as I was saying, one of the fights that I was having with my early game is that I wasn't paying enough attention to columns 1 and 8, and
Yeah.
I paid for it. I paid for it dearly.
Yeah, that's easy. Easy mistake to make.
Yep.
It's not an easy thought to have that needs to be a priority.
Yeah. Oh, love that tuck into 8. It's the right play there. It reduces your drop time. Okay, and freeze.
Oh my god. I hate it. It gives me pain.
Okay, so the 4-5 is the top down play. But there is a tuck under in 3-4 that I don't like any
Three,
better.
four.
Or even 4-5. But then
Yeah, 5, 6, if anything. If you're gonna do that kind of tuck.
5-6 to
Right.
get the blues out of the way and take the yellows horizontally.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't disagree with that.
I I think probably tuck under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be
Mm-hmm.
current dimwit's choice.
Yeah.
What I like about it is it leaves the opportunity to clear the left yellow virus with a double and have 0 fall time from that.
Right.
And it leaves you can sort of freely choose yellow red or yellow blue for the remainder of the column 4 yellow virus.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, well, for the next pill for that virus,
Yeah.
because yellow red is lining up for the horizontal, yellow
Mm-hmm.
blue is
Clear.
Just the obvious vertical play, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's less obvious because the horizontal they're lined up horizontally, and everything in our souls is telling us they need to go horizontally if possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Where does
But you
this?
can do that. It doesn't have to be right away. That can happen after the yellow blue clears. Oh, maybe it's harder. Is it harder? No, I think it's okay. You can do it.
What do you think about this double red?
I think we got to see where the yellow blue goes first.
Fair enough. What do
Yeah.
you think about this double red?
Column one.
Column one.
Two.
Okay.
Sorry, I
I
can't
was like,
count. I
I
can't count.
see no math where one where one makes sense. That's a
You
shock to me.
know, yes. No.
Okay, yeah, I agree with two. Even though seven would be a clear, I think having access to that blue red and the speed
Six,
of
seven.
that.
6, 7
Yeah,
is
six,
blue
seven. Yeah.
red. Yeah. Those clear together.
Oh, but there's a double blue that
Oh, there
came.
was a double blue coming. There's no shot that I saw that in time. This is just past Dimwit being wrong.
No, I mean a double red followed by a double blue. It
Yeah,
makes
I'm just
sense.
saying I didn't see the look ahead.
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
confident I did not see the look ahead fast enough for that to be the reason I made that choice. The choice is fine.
Mm.
uh, yeah.
Um, this is. Oh, I see a dumb play for this red blue.
Yeah. Okay, I'm excited. Let's hear it.
Well, it's not that dumb either. Okay, so vertically in five,
In five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh
blue
yeah.
down,
No, I don't like it
tuck the
because you
yellow,
need a double yellow.
tuck the yellow blue underneath 4 5,
No.
and then you get a yellow
What?
blue. It takes.
Wait. Hold on. Okay, you want the red blue vertical with red down
No, with blue down.
with blue down.
Yeah. So that if you tuck the yellow blue underneath, you've got 3 blues in a row. It's going to take that out, and you salvage the double reds at the very least.
Uh huh.
Because I don't see any other play that salvages these double reds. And if a red anything comes up after, unless it's a red yellow, if a red yellow comes up after this, it's fine. But if another red blue comes up, they're sunk anyway, and this is a terrible play. Like I said it's a dumb move. I did say that at the beginning.
Um. Yeah, the other alternative requires a double yellow, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you could set it under 3 4 or set it on
Swim
top
it.
of 5 6.
Swim it.
Swim it. Swim it. Oh, that is gross. I like it. I like it. I really like that. That is not a real time play. That is not something I see in real
No.
time.
Uh-uh.
Oh, that's
No, me
beautiful.
neither.
Oh, that's beautiful. No, nobody in 2020 sees that play.
No. For
If
sure.
that happens in 2020, we're thinking there's a wizard involved.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see where. Okay, yeah, you just slammed it straight down, and then it's clean top down play.
Yeah,
Probably, maybe even putting the red blue on top, or that's a red
for
yellow
sure.
on top
Yeah.
instead of tucking in at all and using the blues as the destruction as the trigger piece.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yep. Could be.
Yeah, no, you tuck
Yeah.
it under.
Yeah.
I don't hate that play. No, it
Like
works.
it's working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because now you're
It
getting
looks
to
like
use the
yellow is
blues.
really the trouble at this point, right?
What's that, blue yellow
So,
or just
hmm?
yellow? You say just yellow?
I claim that at this point, yellow is the most valuable color.
Agreed.
So the fact that I'm wasting red and blue is less relevant. Not irrelevant, but less relevant.
You'd be surprised at how closely your thought processes match with Adelito's. All right, vertical. Now there's the
Well, maybe one
horizontal.
of us is right.
Well, considering you're two of the, that was an interesting play. With the blue blocking it, that's an interesting play. I mean,
Uh,
I understand killing drop time, but it's not really a lot of drop time. But again, you very confidently made that play.
yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure about that one.
Well, I mean, you can stack the next
So,
one.
so, um, a principle that I was thinking about, I don't remember what if it was then, but a principle that I was thinking about at some point fairly early on is uh so if you go all horizontal,
Mm-hmm.
or sorry, all vertical, if you go all vertical, uh all of your clears are dependencies. So you have to clear the top thing first and then the thing underneath it and then the thing underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
If you make all your clears horizontally, you're also in a situation where every clear is a dependency.
Okay.
But if you have a mix, then the horizontal clears and the vertical clears can be independent.
Agreed. That is that is pure Packy endgame theory. That
So in in this situation, it may be that my gut reaction was introducing opportunities for horizontal clears when everything else on the board is vertical is good.
okay.
Uh, I don't know if that's true.
Well, to be completely fair to you, though, you've
I think
if it,
probably the 1-2 play is simpler.
it is simpler. That's there are other players who would play that every time. I will say this, one of the positives I can see is that even if you don't get blues anytime soon, if all you get is red yellows, you've got uses for the one that's coming plus at least two, maybe three, four more by
Huh?
further complicating that upper stack, and then you're knocking out the red
Yeah, but
into.
you have that if you play 1-2 as well.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like right now, I don't hate this because
I
even if
see.
you don't get the blues, it's still like red yellow is a problem pill for you right now. It's not
I
going to
see.
do
I
you a
see.
lot of good, but making those stacks vertically onto 2 and 3, you can still really do some damage. So I like it. I like the idea.
Yeah. All right, let's see what's happened. Is this old school? This is old
This
school.
is as old a school as we got. Okay, you stack that. So what I was saying about that is if you stack that red yellow
Yeah,
vertically in 3, you've got plenty
right.
to do, but I think it's a double blue I just saw. Nope, it's double yellow. And yeah. Now you're just
This
patiently
isn't great,
waiting.
is it?
Tuck it, tuck it. There you go. Oh, okay. There it goes. There's the drop. Okay. Looking at the horizontal. Gonna make that
How
work.
greedy am I? So greedy.
Oh, but it works.
It worked out.
Oh, it
It
worked out
worked out.
perfectly. Should have told the game you were playing against
So
a putts and you had no chance of losing. Uh, and there it goes. No, we stand greed here. Uh,
yeah.
I was gonna say the real greed is if you get rid of those blues in column 5 and try to make that horizontal happen with the yellows. And
Guarantee that's happening.
oh yeah, I think you could have prioritized a little differently to get it in fewer yellows, but that's minor
You do?
end game stuff. Ooh.
How do you think that happens? I'm curious.
Oh,
I want to see that.
let's back it up. So from crap. From right here. So you place the double yellow there. If you go ahead and stack the next two to clear out the
Oh, you
double.
want the upper horizontal
Yeah,
first?
yeah, because then you're having to platform one extra row. It's like one
It's the
extra
same
pill
number, isn't it?
difference.
No, it's the same pill count.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're right. It's the same pill count because this is a double.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Okay. I've had too many of mine frustrated by that, so.
Yes, I understand.
And I also would have taken the
It's
yellows before the
probably
reds,
the
but
correct instinct is to do the one that works even if it isn't a double.
yeah. And my instinct
Yeah.
is to take the yellows before the reds, but that's because I saw the next box coming with a red, and the reds took two lines of drop time,
Oh yeah.
and the yellows took 0. But it's
Yeah,
all.
no, I think that I've talked about this in at least one video as well, where forget the next box. Doesn't even matter what's in there, it's still correct to take the one that has 0 drop time.
Oh, okay.
Um uh so um yeah. Okay, so if they're both about to clear, for sure, take the one with 0 drop time.
Yeah. Uh,
And that will be like occasionally what's in the next box will make that incorrect, but most of the time it's correct, and it's probably faster on average to have made that decision quickly than it is to wait for seeing the next box before you make your decision.
Makes sense. Hey, look, it's a double red. Let's see what's in the next box. It's a red yellow.
Drop it where it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it appears you're going into 5, and with a red yellow coming up, I 100% agree with that. I would have also agreed if it was a double red coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, do you have room to drop the?
And
You don't have room to drop the red yellow in
in
after
fact,
that.
there's almost no red pill that makes that incorrect.
Yeah. Oh! You get 7. I was thinking, trying to make the horizontal to the left. It's left and right. My vision is sometimes not as good as it should be.
Another possibility is column 1.
Yeah, yeah. If the blues are coming, you're 100% on right there. I'm not sure how I feel if they're not coming. Ugh, I feel horrible if they're
Yeah, I
not
guess
coming
it's
either way.
kind of like no matter what order you get things in, you kind of need double blue for
Mm-hmm.
those horizontals to be efficient, huh?
Yeah, it's tough. That's a tough setup.
Blue yellow would do it. Oh no, you still need the middle. Oh damn,
Yeah, it's a
kind of
toughie.
gross.
All right. Well, I still agree with your your double red here, and then
Yeah,
I hope I don't know. Do you go for
column 8
the
for sure.
Do you go for the 4-5 or column 8? Okay, so it's column 8.
Because if you get a double red, 4-5 can't
Makes
use it
sense.
properly.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna tuck, and then it goes into column 8, and there you go. And
Yeah.
there's a tuck on
Oh,
the red blue and the yellow. I mean, vertically. Okay, horizontally. Makes sense. And yeah, now you're working your way down. Oh, and the double blues were coming. That don't it always seem to go.
every month we should have Team Blue versus Team Fever. What's Team Blue?
No telling. I mean, there's chill, but okay.
I still vote for Team Kirby.
I wasn't going to bring
That
that
one
up. I
that
was
one got me
not.
in trouble
It was a slap on the wrist.
though. We had fun with it eventually.
Yeah. And I flat out told you why I said something. I felt terrible about it, let me tell you.
Nah, I was right to say something.
All right. Oh, love that play.
Shouldn't have been messing with that.
Eh, it was early days.
Yep.
I really haven't seen any other shocking plays. I mean, this yellow blue has a possibility, but it's the pills are coming out perfectly.
Yeah.
And that was a 609, so that would still win, I'd say, the majority of matches today.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Anything sub six. Usually, my target is sub 6.5.
Uh-huh.
In even these days. Granted, that's me. I'm still, I'd be considered a mid major if I was a college basketball team, but yeah, it's 630 is kind of my target. I feel like if I can get
Mm.
under 630, I probably am able to win most of my matches. Okay, I'm gonna check and see what you got on the second, and I think we're gonna move on to like the finals.
Sure.
Oh, you won that one with a 703. That
It's different times.
that is definitely a different
Different
time.
times.
Yep. But yeah, we're gonna have to move on to ye finals because otherwise we're gonna be here till
The
3 in the morning.
is this a Packy finals?
It is a Packy finals.
Awesome.
Do you
That
have a?
means it's gonna be here.
Are you in the empty basement room again?
Yeah, for sure. Same place you can see me in the in this video.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm in the same place you could see me in the last video too. I just put a poster up, so it looks a little less empty. Um. So same question. You're in the finals. I mean, again, this is month
Aquarium
six.
Mike, yes.
May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So this is month 7, and you two have appeared in the finals. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th time. The other 3, you beat Leviticus, Sarah, and DM Hero.
Uh-huh.
Having in November beaten Packy 3-1 in the semis.
That's right. I forgot there was a Dimwit Packy semifinal.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreaking situation.
He made the 3rd seed. That was the month Floyd came up as the 1 seed. I remember that.
Mm,
Yeah. And we didn't fill the bracket that month. There were only 13 of us.
mm-hmm.
So, okay. So, I mean, it's the first big finals. Did you have it in your mind that, this was the first of many, or was it just kind of, this is something fun we're doing and I may as well just enjoy it while I can?
Uh, I would be not at all surprised to see somewhere in this video me wiping my hands on my shirt.
Okay.
Like I'm sure I was sweating.
Fair enough.
Um, I mean, I sweated every finals. It's a nerve-wracking thing to participate in, I think just about every time.
Agreed.
Never gets old.
Agreed. So, I mean, I have only in the last year or so really gotten to where I don't shake at the beginning of every match. So I am totally on board with that.
Yeah.
Gosh, do you want to watch the first one or you want to try to get to the last one?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember what happened. So
I don't
whatever
either.
is fine.
Yeah, I don't feel like we've got the time with the depth of discussion we're having.
Sure.
I don't feel like we could do more than one.
Sure.
So let me see. It's a 3-1. Okay. So let's break it down to the end. Holy crap. These matches last forever. Okay, yeah. So we're at the 2-1. You actually, I can tell, having watched you play as much as I have, I can tell that it's. Yeah, I remember. I'd already mentioned it was 13-17. Yeah, you two both look a little flushed, I will
A
say.
little tired.
But I mean,
Uh-huh.
you just played 3 matches already, 13-17. Ugh, I'm assuming
I
Pax
mean,
still has the top
I
time
mean,
on
at
that.
that time, maybe even now, like if I did 2 runs in a stream, my brain was off after that. Like there was no longer neural activity happening. You
That's
know,
fair. That
it's
is
just
100% fair. Like
and
it's.
if we're going, the upper levels are most of the time actually.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're hitting 13 to 17, that's and this is not the first game that day, so I wouldn't be surprised if been at it for more than an hour, hour and a half, something like that. So
I mean, this is why the
I
decision was made to
would,
drop a level from the semis and the finals. It was tough on the commentators, much less
yeah,
the you know the players.
yeah,
We really, even now, like calling super semifinal Sunday is a challenge.
mm-hmm,
So I wasn't in on it back when it was 13-17. I cannot imagine trying to get my voice to go that long at the levels that they needed to be. It's different doing something like this.
yeah,
Okay, I love your top line here.
yeah,
Everything
because every pairing is easy to
mm-hmm.
see. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. And I think
Yeah, we'll see some flat placements. 1, 2, 2, 3, and
then
or
whatever
one,
comes
two,
next.
3, 4, and 5, 6 are gonna pair up for sure.
Yeah. Let's see what comes up next.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
eight.
disagree with that.
Eight would have been the better choice. Well, no. Look, your ones and eight
Well,
are
it's
doubled.
not obvious, is it? No, it's not obvious. Might be okay.
Yeah, and like I said, your eights are doubled.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you tear down into eight, then you've got the opportunity, and you can still lay yellow blues underneath.
Yeah.
That's a favorite play of mine these days.
Mm-hmm.
Vertical. Okay, there's the double, and there's the tuck.
There's
Nicely
that
done.
one.
That is a hairy tuck at that speed.
Oh man, this is unfair to Packy.
A really bad board on his side, or just you're getting the pills you need.
The like this seed is incredible for me.
Yeah.
It gave me exactly the stuff, like it paired up all my viruses and it gave me exactly the stuff I needed in exactly the order I needed it. Like that's unreasonable.
I mean, this is the first garbage pill half that you've got, and they're giving you a double right afterwards that you can take the option of getting rid of it. Oh, oh.
You
No
thought you
garbage.
thought you thought.
I did. I 100% thought. That's what I get for thinking. Yeah. It's
Oh, this is brutal.
it's one of the joys of commentary is you learn so much and you learn just how much you don't know. I become a Socratic genius every time I I do commentary because wisest is he who knows he does not know. Okay, I'm here for it. Oh, definitely here for that.
This is like I didn't even have to think for this level really.
You notice I've barely paused.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to say. Um, I'm the yellow blue. It's I mean it works. I just don't know. I understand it.
You don't understand it?
Why it
I
went.
can explain it.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You want me to back up
There's
to it?
no blue left.
Right. I got that. Well, why lay it that way?
So
So you can do your red horizontal?
uh yes, and so that the okay, so column 3 is
Very high.
high. So I want to build up to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm going to build up to it in columns 1 and 2.
That is fair.
So I need some garbage in column 2 to be part of that building.
And you're
The
not afraid.
garbage color is blue. So
Okay. I will
yeah.
not disagree. Found it interesting. That is all. I mean, it all works out in the end.
That was all according to Keikaku, that one.
I mean, yeah, that's a sub 2 minute 13. That is absolutely gross. Okay.
That's not my fault. That the game gifted me
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like that is crazy, and I can't argue with it. Okay, 6-7 with a red yellow.
That's the most obvious thing for
I mean,
sure.
2-3 is a possibility, but I don't like it as much. And at this point, I'm not even sure I could tell you why, other than once you clear the yellows in 7, you've still got access to red yellow in 7-8. But
It's like the most natural play for sure.
yeah. All right, this is a natural play. The blue yellow goes to the left unless you've got something incredibly smart to
No,
tell me.
vertical. No, vertical's better.
Vertical.
That play was a mistake.
Okay, wait.
Blue half goes down.
Okay.
Vertical in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Vertical in 5. Blue half down on the blue yellow.
Actually, it's probably better in 2.
Talking about the blue red or the blue yellow?
The blue red.
Okay, I thought we were talking about the blue yellow, and I was confused. I see now what you're getting at. Yeah, that's a cool play. Reducing drop time. I like it.
And I think it should be 2 and not 5 or whatever that one is.
Because then
As well.
you're giving yourself more access to blue coming up.
No, because um because I want to clear the reds in 8 and 5 horizontally
Oh.
so that I can clear the yellows horizontally.
Oh, 8 and 5. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So placing red vertically eliminates the efficiency of that move.
Interesting.
And I might not get it, right? So I'm not going to tie myself to it. But if I can leave myself open to it, then I leave myself open to it. And then if I get another blue red, then okay, fine. Then I give up on that plan.
Yeah, I want to see you clear out all of columns 5 and 6 down to those reds and put a red into 4 and then get no, there's no way to actually make it happen unless it's dropped in. drop in the reds to make that whole block just disappear all at once. That's what you're going to do.
Oh, that would be sick.
2, 3,
That's not
7,
happening.
8, 3, 4, 8, or 3, 4, 7, and 5, 6 all at once.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's totally what you're going to do.
Unlikely.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, those blues, yeah, they're just garbage. Okay. I thought maybe you were thinking about a horizontal on using the blue garbage you were getting, but you ended up just burning it. So I'm going to assume the answer was no on that.
Yeah, I don't love getting 0 red in this position.
Agreed. Oh, here comes a horizontal. Oh, I remember counting off this exact match ahead of my appearance on Inflox's podcast. I was looking
Counting
for
off?
I was looking for specialty clears,
Uh,
fat logs, sweet teas, stuff that we didn't really have names for at this point,
huh.
and comparing it to whatever the most recent finals was when he and I were having our discussion. And just seeing, kind of what the numbers were. It wasn't what I expected. I don't remember what I was expecting or what it was, but I do remember seeing this seed because I've slept since then. Anyway, I see this red yellow going on to 6-7.
Likely. There's other
Yeah.
places for it,
Yeah.
too.
Wait, did you? No, you didn't kill a platform for the double blues. Okay. Yeah, if you'd gone
Yeah.
vertically, it would have done that, but it's not a critical play, I don't think. I like that. I like a good stack like that.
Uh-huh.
It
I
just,
think opening up blue is the idea of the thing on the right there.
yep, and there it is. Now it's closed again. Yep, that is exactly the play I was thinking of. Now you've got a T option. Oh man, none of this is fair to Packy.
No, it's completely unfair.
Oh, and the options are just there for that blue. Prioritizing the yellow makes sense. Oh, you get punished with a double yellow though.
Yeah, slightly.
Ugh. And you took the 50-50 on the left. It didn't matter, but okay. Offset 7. Ooh, no.
Uh,
Uh.
huh.
Uh-huh. Neither option is good. I may like 6-7 the best.
6-7.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, 7-8, you run the risk of.
Yeah, yeah, I see.
And same with 1-2. It's just blues on that side.
Uh,
I don't love your options.
huh. Yeah, 1-2. I think it's got to be 1-2 or 7-8.
Okay.
Although, yeah, I think I want it to be 7-8 every time. Actually.
That's always my first instinct. I see those pairs of double yellows and the knowledge of how
Yeah, I know.
difficult they'd be to clear. I mean, you've got yellow, blue, and
But I
red, yellow covered, so it
I
isn't
think
too
it's
bad.
it's actually somewhat high priority to get to those yellows and clear them, because there's a lot of really efficient clears that want to happen in a sequence after those yellows are gone.
The double blues,
Uh-huh.
and then the double blues in 8, the double reds in 8. Okay. My instinct is 7-8, but that's just because they're both doubles, and I like getting 8 cleared out before anything else, especially since it's higher than 1 and more full.
Yeah.
But Okay, let's see what you do.
I think it may just be inevitable that there's a lot of yellow on this board. I
Yeah.
don't think you can get around that by playing somewhere else.
Okay, well, the next one's coming up, so there's a commitment. There's the yellow blue. You go left. Okay. Vertical. Okay, explain it.
The double blue
The double blue.
is a mistake.
Okay, cool.
Column one.
Just
It should be
checking.
column one.
Just checking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, well, see, everything else you've done, you've been like, this is why, and I've been like, okay, I feel a little dumber for not catching that.
So it can be made to look good, but
Oh yeah,
it's so
definitely.
much harder. It's so much harder than what it would look like if it was just in column one instead, that I can't imagine that it was intentional.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. There's not a. Oh yeah, that's
I
tough.
I would bet that this next double blue clears the it goes into.
That's fair. I agree with that decision. And
Yeah.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Love it when a play comes together. Okay, tuck play for the yellow blue, and then you've opened up the yellow on the left.
I actually don't like that.
You don't like the tuck play?
I don't like the blue red.
Okay, let me
What
back it
was
up.
maybe two? That one.
This
Yeah.
one? Okay, so you go blue red there.
That one's fine.
Okay,
This one's fine. This one's bad.
because you could drop a blue red into 3-4, and then the next one has one less drop time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I still go for it.
And well, it's actually a savings of two, I think, not one,
1, 2.
because you save on the immediate drop, but you also save on the next drop from the blue clear as well, I think.
Okay, so that's 3. It's a savings of 1 then, because you're still going to get a single drop in from the blue
I
clear.
guess it depends whether you finish the blue with a blue red or a blue yellow.
Right.
If you finish it with a blue red, you've saved a second row of drop
Yeah.
time.
Oh, we're getting into deep stuff now.
Yeah, and it did finish with a blue red, so
Yeah.
tuck.
Nice.
That.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Eh.
Yeah. I mean, there was a tuck play available, but I think given the amount of time it would have taken to set it up, that may have still been the right choice. Oh, you were fighting that one. There comes another blue red to make you fight it less. But my complaint earlier about the double yellows is starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, it sure is.
Like I just now caught that. Oh, that was
Yeah, let's go.
oh, that was great. Oh, I love the way that came about for you. Okay, it doesn't really matter. No,
Ouch.
which part?
Falling 18 rows when the board is only 16 rows tall.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
I made a video of the maximum possible drop time,
Mm-hmm.
and it is boring. It's so long.
I
Oh,
was I was having an internal complaint about that red blue in column 4. I thought it should be turned the other way
column
around.
4. That was a little while back. Can you show me what you're talking about?
Yeah. So here it goes down, and you put it red down. I think I'd rather see it blue down. yes, it'll clear with the blues, but you've got this double red coming up that it would have allowed you to make the horizontal. And then you've got an underclear on those yellows if
Allow
you
me to
need
make
them.
the horizontal. What?
Okay, here. Well, I'll let it clear up. So now at this point it would have cleared with those blues,
Oh, uh-huh.
but
Yeah, I like that better too.
yeah, right now you
Yep.
don't have access to
Or
the
flat. Flat is
flat's
probably
good.
better.
You're right.
Yeah.
Either way. So now, you've got to take everything top
Yeah,
down,
I
whereas that would
agree.
have allowed
Yeah.
for. Okay.
Yep. That's an inaccuracy for sure.
Yeah. Not a mistake, not a blunder, just an inaccuracy. I agree.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and then you cleared it up and managed to make it look cooler. You fat logged it. Oh, you cheeky. That was cheeky.
There was no reason to do that one first.
No, there really wasn't. That's why I called it cheeky. That was
Just
specifically
no
what I
call for it.
meant.
Just no call for it.
Ah, all right. 3-4 or 7-8. I like 3-4 better.
Uh, yeah, 3-4. Because 7-8, you sort of want those yellows to clear from underneath anyway.
Yeah.
So putting yellow on top isn't helping anything.
And if you get the option, if it's two yellow reds and then a double yellow comes up, you've got yourself a T in 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So we'll see if it comes up.
I think you would be pretty happy with that sequence of pills if you did 7-8 as well, though.
You would, but look at what comes up.
Yeah.
Do you
Works
get it?
out, huh?
Yeah, you got it. Um, I like instead of 7-8 on that yellow red, I like 3-4 so that you get the double blues. But I see the
I
fault in
no,
that.
I like 7-8, but I don't like this double blue placement actually.
Would you prefer it horizontally or on
Nope.
top
I
of
want it vertically in 4.
in 4? Okay. Ah, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's that below the board thinking that we know you so well for. Yeah, I see the error of my way, and that is that I'm taking away the majority of my blue top line and
Mm.
not really getting much for it. So,
Mm.
okay. Yeah, I mean, you ended up making that work. And there's the double
Making
red.
it complicated is what I'm doing. There's
Oh,
my, there's my double blue finally in the place that I said.
oh, this is another cheeky. Let me back that up real quick.
Yeah, this absolutely should be on 7-8.
7-8. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's what I
no
was
doubt.
thinking, and I
100%.
just wanted to make sure I was. Yeah. I mean, it does give you use for yellow blue, which you do still have one over all the way on the right, but it's a lot of drop time. You're gonna take it right here though, and have nothing to do with blue.
I did not yet care about drop time, I'm pretty sure.
Like that play, and it's just you can't make anything of it. You're covering up a lot with yellow, waiting around for that red blue. Oh, okay, or that.
I was gonna say, I didn't think I was covering anything with yellow.
I mean, there
We
was a
have a
lot of.
different judgment on that.
It's just a lot of yellow on top.
Yeah, but it wasn't covering anything. It was part of a clear.
And I know that now. Oh man. No, I always learn so much from listening to players who, win tournaments. So this is definitely an education for sure. Okay, so the red's going
Yeah, love
horizontally.
it.
Now, a lot of red dependency. No longer.
Mostly blue, actually. No?
Well, I mean, it was red. Now it's blue.
Oh,
Oh
no.
no!
It's fine.
Oh, you have to pay like an extra 30% on that when you pay Leviticus for saying that now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, tariffs.
Registered trademark,
Oh yeah.
copyright. What is the one where you have to pay? It's not trademark. Trademark is you can't use it.
It's copyright. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yellow, blue, 3-4.
It's the only place.
It's not the only place. I mean, you could
Ah.
go vertically in 7, but
Vertically in 7. Nah. Nah, what are you talking about?
I mean, you could set it for the
Yes, you could.
cross.
Can I argue for it? It does get you um it does get you to uses for double red faster,
Yeah, that it does.
which might be interesting.
But no, I agree that 2-3 is or 3-4 is the best choice. I, I just disagreed that it was the only choice. And oh
You
yeah,
are wrong.
oh that's beautiful. And I like this choice to set it up there.
That I don't like.
The double blue, yeah, I was
Yeah,
disagreeing with
that
that
was
myself.
flat on flat on 7-8 is the obvious.
Okay, I like this play. I was kind of hoping you would clear out the double yellows first, but the option just wasn't there. The one's in 7.
Mm,
Here, let me.
hmm.
I'll back it up. Yeah, I was hoping that you would
Oh
find a
yeah, yeah,
way.
yeah.
Sorry, in 6, not in 7.
Oh, and
The double
yeah, yeah,
yellows.
6.
Yeah.
With what?
I didn't say you had a way. Actually,
Oh, I see.
if you'd
Yeah,
set it
yeah.
vertically,
This is a wish. Yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. I share that wish. Yeah.
I mean, there's the option of setting the yellow red vertically in 6, and then
I
you've.
don't think that's better.
It's an option.
It is. I agree. It's an option. I don't think that's better than what happened though, because the fall time is too much.
I'm not sure it is, but that
Oh, I
that you just
suffered that fall
took.
time anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's working. Yeah, just go ahead and set yourself up. Yeah.
Interesting.
There's okay, that's the play I was expecting to see some time ago. Oh, okay, there it is. I was stuck on the right hand side option for that cross. You were working the left. Oh, going for the not going for the fat log.
I'm
And
not sure what to do. You can see me hesitating.
yeah, that is
Yup.
that hesitation was a hallmark of your play.
Hmm.
Having watched quite a bit, even since your retirement, I will tell you it was been very noticeable.
Uh-huh.
Mostly because it's not something that we see as much of with top level players anymore.
Uh-huh.
Not even as a negative on your play. It's just it's very noticeable because we don't see it anymore.
Uh-huh.
We do see it with some players.
I I have never had the mechanical skill that uh makes it possible to win by playing fast. My only choice is guile.
I mean, and Ibar's saying that the extra time lets you make better plays, and I agree with that. That's part of why, when we see it with players, we make note of it because we go, oh, they're trying to find the right play for this, and it's,
Yeah.
again, and that's why you have the reputation of being very cerebral, and also the fact that you're very cerebral. Uh, it's it's your play style,
Yeah.
and uh, you see players who still do
Yep.
that.
That's me.
Savage, I would say, is still one who can still we still see do that some, but again, she claimed she puts you down as one of her big influences. The
Yeah. Oh, I love this play by Packy.
Yeah, he's really making
There's a
some
big combo coming up.
some smart stuff.
Oh, I didn't love that one though.
Mm,
I guess it's okay. I guess it's okay, yeah. Because who cares about blue?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, well,
I'm
he
on board.
should at some point. Oh no, he saw it was over. No, he didn't. Interesting. Yeah, I would have seen that. I would have seen that blue going away like a double blue ago. He'd be out by now. But whatever.
Oh well.
Yeah. But yeah, we Packy with the bow down.
Oh, what a guy.
But yeah, Savage always talks about very fondly about you teaching her things like, looking at shapes and
Yeah.
finding the right play. Um,
That's a legacy from my Go days as well.
yeah.
A big part of uh Go, like high level Go strategy, is watching for specific well-known strong shapes and uh making the potential to make them or making them directly.
And I think as a result, I mean, she's spent so much time in the commentary booth talking about those things that it's really permeated the whole community. And she's not the only one. There's so
Yeah.
many of us who really owe our style and just we
It was fun to be around, as things were kicking up and nobody had really thought deeply about it yet, so there were still very low hanging fruit to pick. So it was fun to be around for that time.
I, I
Um,
I would not suggest that all the fruit you picked is low. You got some stuff from up way up high on the tree. And we are closing in on my limit of being able to talk, and I still haven't asked about blinking, so I guess I'll have to leave that for another day. I feel like Jimmy Kimmel apologizing to Matt Damon that they couldn't get to him tonight because
yeah, nice.
yet
Oh,
again
that
it
was a
is.
really fun stream. Thanks for hosting and leading and all of that. That
Of
was great.
course, dude. I mean, this was. I have learned as much tonight as I have at any one of these, and I have been on the horn with some of the greats. So I really, really appreciate the time you've given us tonight. But on top of that, the countless hours that you've given to this community over the course of the last 5 years. Even though you may not be an active member of the community, I don't know. I mean, an active player today for sure. You have an impact that has been strongly felt. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that, and especially for tonight as well.
It's a lovely sentiment. Thank you. It's good to be part of that.
Yeah, it's a completely different community if you're not part of it. I'll definitely say that. All right, friends. Well, that is going to wrap up the main part of the stream tonight. Don't forget, if you're watching here on Twitch, it's available on YouTube as soon as I get it put up. And in about 6 months, probably, we'll have the Best of Chill Pill version of this particular stream on Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, check the other two. If you're on Spotify, check, yeah, you know how this works. We want to say again a big thank you to my guest Dimwit and to everybody who has been hanging out with us. And until next time, as always, be good, be safe, be happy, and we will catch you on the next one. Have a good night.